Hello, Cancerian Collective. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here with your Cancerian season reading, and this is for any placement of Cancer. This is Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Ascendant, North Node, MC, Jupiter, any placement. And we're going to look into this new moon energy, what you can expect from the Cancerian season, as well as the fact there's actually a powerful Cazimi happening right now. Well, depending on when you see this, it's happening around June 24th, 25th, depending on where you are. And it amplifies the energy of whatever's involved. So the energy of this moon will be amplified. And I'm not an astrologer. I'm not even going to pretend to be one. But it says right on this card, your commitment could be being tested. All right. So it could feel very potent, this energy, and you are ruled by the moon. And even if it's not your sun sign, the moon probably has a big influence on you, a big impact on your energy, because Cancer is ruled by the moon. And so when you think of the moon, think of intuition and feelings, and there's also this sense of right before the reading, I had this sort of Cancers were like known for our hearts. I say we. I have a lot of placements in Cancer, including my ascendant, although I am a Libra sun. But yeah, it's like we're kind of known for being the like emotionally deep and all that, but it's this fine balance of how much to put forth your emotions into the world to others, especially nowadays, right, with so much tension out there. But and then how much you want to show your like real authentic self versus protecting yourself at the same time. And it's kind of like not exchanging our authenticity solely for approval of others. And so I do get, that could be part of why your commitment is being tested during this time. Maybe you're feeling very strongly, feeling something very deeply right now, which, yeah, emotions could certainly be heightened as with the Cazimi at play, which is going to really magnify the energy, as I said, and really purify it. So it's like you may be feeling as though those around you are more emotional, or you may be feeling more emotional. So it's just there's just this. But do know that there's also, you could be getting like heightened clarity. You could be getting a lot of intuitive insight right now at this time, because again, working with that moon energy. So which, yeah, it has such a huge influence on all of us, regardless of if we even have Cancer in our chart. So I'll use some moon decks. I have ocean decks here, tapping into that watery energy, the moon energy. Let's see, what else do we have? Happy birthday, by the way, to you, if it's your sun sign. Don't let your past hold you back. Okay, some of you may be, and it's so closely related to this, your commitments being tested. Some of you could really be doing some deep healing right now, or you could feel, I'm getting like Six of Cups energy with this, sort of kind of nostalgic, and maybe other people are feeling it too. And so you could be tempted to talk to somebody from your past, or you could just be having like the past kind of come up in different ways. And it's almost like coming up for a final review, for like one more. And it doesn't, I mean, not just for that, but it can come up for a variety of reasons, right? But it could be that for a lot of you, it's like it's just coming up so that it can be finally like cleared out for good, right? And this, to me, I feel as though for some of you, you're clearing out your heart space, and maybe allowing yourself to open up to what truly suits you, what will really make you happy, and not just having to kind of, go with the flow all the time, and like, not want to cause any waves. And I'm using all these water, like analogies or whatever. But yeah, it really is kind of like, we can't really be afraid of making waves in exchange for like approval, so it's important. I'm just getting really, really, truly that it's about being ourselves. And it says communication is key here. Communication is key. And yeah, I think there's a lot of like healing energy I'm getting from this. So communication could be a big part of, and it's like when to communicate versus when not to, That's always such a fine balance. And it says take time to breathe out. You could be feeling, I feel as though it's kind of a time of extremes right now with this energy that I'm feeling. It's sort of like you could be feeling as though you want to totally retreat into your shell, the Cancerian crab shell there, or you could be feeling as though you really need to get something out, that it could almost feel as though, dare I say, like a breaking point, or why don't we call it a turning point? You know, you could be feeling like, you know what, forget it. I'm not playing this game anymore, or I'm just, you know, I'm done not being happy, or whatever it is in your own personal life. Do remember, these are general readings, not personal. Only take what resonates. And of course, leave the rest. Check out the disclaimer. So, all right, commitment being tested. Don't let your past hold you back. Just because something didn't work in the past doesn't mean that's going to be the same now. A lot of energy has shifted. We had a lot of planets that stay in signs for a very long time, all move at the same time. And so they're in like early degrees. And that can just, we've never experienced energy like this before. So, you know, if you've always wanted to do something and it never worked, maybe it will with this new energy. We don't know. So it is important to be open, even if that's scary and even if it's difficult. So let's see. And I myself am working on that. Okay. So I'm going to use the Dark Mansion Tarot by Taroteca Studio. All of the decks I use are in the description box. And by the way, happy solstice. We have so much going on right now, right? So for some of us, we just had the longest day of the year, others the longest night. So there's just a lot of mixed energy, you know, and I'm sure you're feeling it all, right? We're very much a feeling kind of sign. We have the Hierophant here, Taurus energy. And I feel this has to do with this. I actually, even though you know, normally I'd say it's under the first card, the first tarot card would be clarifying that first oracle card, which we can put it there, but I feel it's actually connected to the healing, about the healing of the past, something. You know, I don't know if, you know, what you have, where your Chiron placement is, or, you know, if you're experiencing that. I guess we experience that around age 50, once in a lifetime, unless you live to be 100, and then I guess you'd experience it twice. But so just maybe look into that. So anyway, Taurus energy, Hierophant, and this can have to do with going against the norm. I feel like I said, it's like just like not trading authenticity for approval of any kind. And that's where I feel the commitment is in fact being tested. It could come from some sort of, you know, tradition or a norm, or you could be feeling as though your faith is being tested at this time. You could even be going up against an organization, a structure, etc. So it does feel as though there's a lot of that in the air. And I am filming this on the summer solstice, where I live anyway, in the United States, and so it's going to post on Monday the 23rd, but I'm filming this on 6/20 on the solstice. If you're wondering, so we're about to go into a weekend, so who knows what'll unfold. I know last weekend was intense, and it continues to be intense, and we're having all kinds of solar flares too, which can, you know, if you're feeling certain symptoms from that, maybe. Anyway, we have Page of Swords, and it's like, again, don't let your past hold you back. This Pages of Swords for me, they're always kind of like kind of an assessing kind of energy, air energy. And they can be messengers, but it's like a message maybe that's not super clear, where you're still feeling a bit hesitant. And that's where a lot of you could be right now. And again, it could have to do with some sort of commitment that maybe you entered into, even that now you don't want to be, or this need to like communicate something, or even to really get grounded, get centered, and then kind of make your decision from that point. I feel as though there is some information here that's either blocked for some reason, or it just hasn't come to you yet. But I do feel you're going to get a lot of spiritual insights during this really. I feel like it's a critical turning point. I really do. And I don't take that as a negative either. Now, is change beautiful all the time? No, a lot of the time it gets messy, right? Before it gets better. So what else do we have? We have, oh my goodness. Of course, this came into the reading, the Moon card. Right in the center of the reading, you have the Moon. And that's what's clarifying this. Communication is key. All right, communication key. And some of you may have started something new, new studies or new something in May during Gemini season, even Taurus Gemini season, because I am feeling Taurus Gemini energy, and then I have all this newness. So I wonder if you started something recently, like something like a big thing, something, or maybe a whole shift of almost the word consciousness is coming. Maybe you're just getting such a much higher perspective, and that makes sense with the moon connecting to consciousness, perhaps. And for some of you. And I do think that, the moon can be, well, I don't think, I know the moon can also be associated with fears, illusions. It can be, getting real about things, things being exposed even. So if it's your career, maybe you're not quite sure which way to go. There could be some sort of uncertainty there. And you may want to consider, how, like, is there anything that you're resisting, or is there anything that you don't quite know yet, or is there something that does need to be communicated, or maybe you do need to take some time and breathe out and be on your own with something before you make a full decision. This is about letting your fear not rule you. It's not about, we can't let the fear rule us. So it's about letting go of the fear to have this new beginning. This is about, like, wanting to do something, but then maybe for whatever reason you're hesitating. So yeah, you have this, usually in the moon card you'll have a dog and a wolf, and it's like they're in a field, they're looking at the moon, and it's something that it's kind of like looking at the civilization and humanity, and like the domestication versus the wild side. So maybe you want to do something that kind of goes against the norm, as I said, and that is your right. And this is about, again, having that higher level of consciousness. And maybe you're feeling as though you're in between two worlds too at this time. You could even be feeling, physical sensations from that. As I said, there have been a lot of like solar storms lately, and I didn't realize until recently that I'm actually really sensitive to solar flare energy. I'm kind of just learning that. I know I'm very sensitive to the moon energy. I'm sure you are too, having Cancer in your chart. And even if you don't, I feel we're all tuned into the moon, right? And so I just, maybe you want to look into solar flares too, because we've had some big ones lately, and those can trigger things like, earthquakes and major volcano eruptions and storms of all kinds. So of course it can affect us. We are in fact mostly water, and the moon affects the ocean. So of course it would affect little old us, right? If it can affect huge bodies of water and fault lines and things, of course it can affect us. So, knowing that there could be a lot of things right now influencing you, not just from like a geology perspective or anything, but more so, uh, like, again, like a heart place, or the consciousness, because there's just so much of this energy of the heart and the intuition being magnified right now. And so you maybe just be really feeling a lot right now, feeling all the feels, right? So let's see what else we have. It can also be, especially when it comes to relationships, you may have this fear or hesitancy, because as I said, we have a Page of Swords, which to me is a card of hesitancy. You may be hesitant to commit to something, which completely makes sense with these cards, but it could also be hesitant, and even like, if it's a relationship, kind of, again, like not knowing if you should really put yourself out there. Okay, so it could be a like not sure if you should be seen in any way, even if it has to do with career or otherwise. This could be this little dance you're doing of maybe, it's coming out of the shell a little bit and then retreating back in, like wanting to connect maybe with people, or try something new, but then also kind of like, oh, now I'm going to go back in my shell, almost like feeling a little bit of like your like impulsiveness. But then, I just want to say, like, just let's all let's get grounded before we make any big decisions during this time. Okay, seriously, that's really important. That's why I wanted to do this reading before the new moon. Okay, even though we're already feeling that energy, I wanted to do it a little before, so you had it in time for the new moon, because there could be some things that you're feeling that they're going on. And it's like, why is the energy so powerful right now? Well, there are a variety of reasons for that. We have the Ace of Pentacles here. Now, this is, it's a great opportunity. This is a new beginning. This is completely makes sense for a new moon reading, and of course, the kickoff of a new solstice, and for a lot of us, it's the start of summer, and that's actually why as an intuitive, I could be feeling this sort of this energy of like push pull, but also this energy of like how much to go in versus how much to come out. And there is sort of this dilemma there. And I think because I'm working, with energy, of people from around the globe, the different solstices could be what's coming forward right now in that. Again, some are we just had our summer solstice, and others the exact opposite, right, with the winter solstice. So that could be playing into this too. Maybe you even have overseas connections too, um, and that doesn't have to just be like Australia or whatever. It could be anywhere. But the Ace of Pentacles can really be that seed, right? It's like, hey, there's a lot of potential here. Okay, this is a new chapter. Okay, so it's like, don't let it pass you by, kind of thing. Okay, that's the energy. This is a manifestation. Could be a new job. It could be stability of some kind, a foundation. But again, before you make this decision, you'll want to get clear. Okay, this is a glowing opportunity of some kind, and this is certainly abundance in all areas, and it's good luck too. So you may feel extra lucky at this time. Maybe you want to check and see if you have Jupiter in Cancer. I know for some of us, that could be a shift as far as our luck, Jupiter being the planet of luck and expansion. And it did, in fact, just enter Cancer on June 9th. So there could be some shifts and changes there. Maybe luck is on your side at this time, and it hasn't felt like it has been up until this point. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Jupiter isn't always about expanding upon, the good in our life. It can be a mix, as everything is. Okay, so let's see what we have here. The Devil, as I said, it's not always sugarcoat. In fact, some of you could find that with this energy shift, you're relying, or you're going back into old ways. Maybe you're eating more sugar than you have been, or consuming in other ways. This can be too much. This is a card of excess, too much. Let's see what else we have, because Capricorn energy, which is across from you on the zodiac wheel. And I do talk about astrology a lot, even though I'm not an astrologer. I am very interested in it. I guess you could say I'm studying it, but I'm not. Again, I'm not going to pretend I'm some big fancy astrologer. That's not me. But I do know enough to say a few things. And so anyway, yeah, it can be. Again, I just feel like kind of like you're being torn in different directions, pulled in different ways. So think about what can you do to keep yourself grounded, keep the energy kind of stable at this time as much as you possibly can. The chains, though, I want to remind you on the Devil, are not tightened. The person usually there it's like usually a couple, and they can, just like with that Eight of Swords, it's like you can set yourself free here. You don't have to stay in this energy. This is about, yeah, you may be feeling limited, but is that a lie? Are you lying to yourself? Are we deceiving ourselves in thinking that we're stuck in some sort of way? Okay, it's an energy that you can, in fact, break free from if it's not helping you, if it's not supporting what you're here to do. All right, you have the Hermit. A lot of major arcana cards, and I'm not surprised. I mean, you haven't had a single regular minor arcana. You've had an ace. You have 4 major arcana cards, and you have a court card. So out of the 6, you don't have a single 3 of cups or whatever it could be. So the Hermit card, it tells me that this is a big shift for a lot of you. And if it hasn't happened yet, this is a timeless reading, but you're probably going to notice this energy that I'm talking about, like starting now, or it may have started recently, but I do feel it is connected. It's definitely connected to this change in the energy happening now in June 2025, later June. Okay, so Hermit card, Virgo energy. This is, that inner wisdom. I feel as though some of you, the answer is within. We do not need to be looking so much outside of ourselves for enlightenment, right? That's not where it comes from, in my opinion. Okay, now there could be debates about that, sure, but this is about, the solitude maybe that you're craving. It's about spiritual guidance coming from within, from your own inner truth. And maybe it's time to make time for that, even if you just experience, a few moments each day, a few minutes that you can set aside where you can just be you. You know, sometimes I forget, like I'll do a lot of readings and things, and I practice Reiki regularly and all every day for myself, and and it's like sometimes I forget though to just sit and listen, to just listen. And maybe, I do automatic writing as well. Maybe that's something you do, but it's like I'm always tapped in, to that intuitive energy, but I have to make sure I'm making, and I'm saying this as like a fellow human here, like maybe it's time you make time for yourself to just sit and see what sort of messages you get. If you're not already doing that, I'm sure a lot of you are already doing that, but just, maybe making that space and that time. And again, it only has to be for like a few minutes. You'll be amazed at what sort of information you can get when you just quiet the mind and maybe be out in nature even. And if you can't be outside, how can you bring elements of earth, air, fire, and water right to your very home, or right to your space where you're going to be. It's just sitting, just be, right? It's important to make time to just be. Intuition is so on point right now. Oh my goodness, you have the Queen of Wands. What a nice balance here. This is, I always say, nothing stops a Queen of Wands. Nothing at all. This is someone who, yeah, they might not know exactly where they're going 100%, but they're doing it anyway. This is about taking action on something that feels right. Not that you have all the facts. You may not necessarily know exactly where you're headed, but something may be feeling off and something needs to change. Again, this is a turning point energy. All right. It's like a get in that driver's seat, because you have control over where this energy takes you. All right. Co-creation is important. Okay. The Queen of Wands, excellent as far as co-creation. Has a lot of confidence too. This is somebody who's bold, who's assertive, and they go for what they want. They're confident. This is creative. I'm going to say creative discernment too. They're able to kind of self-direct. Oh my goodness, you have the Five of Pentacles, and I don't know why I'm saying that. Oh my goodness, I'll tell you why. Because there's this again, feeling as though maybe you're feeling lost, or really, even this is a card of feeling sort of abandoned, right? But I want to point you to the fact that this light, the color here in the window, that's because the lights are on inside there. So there may be some sort of support that you're not quite seeing, like they're not even looking towards it. So maybe you're trying to do everything yourself. Maybe you don't want to be a burden to others. Maybe you don't want to, go there with certain things, and you're just, again, it's like maybe the time to just like, just go with that flow. Maybe you're wanting to break free from where things are headed. That could be for some of you. You have the Chariot. Oh my goodness, break free. Look what the horses are trying to do here. They are trying to break free. And I just said being in the driver's seat of, where that energy is going to take you, and then you get the Chariot. Seriously? That's not a coincidence. This is your card, by the way. This is one of your cards for the major arcana. It's your main card, actually. And this is like, again, getting that higher perspective, okay? Having that self-control over the change, having control over your own journey as you move forward. Okay, some of you, please don't get mad at the messenger, but some of you need to get a little more structured and organized when it comes to getting something done, okay? That's coming through as well. I'm picking up, so I am clairaudient as well as other clairs, and so I'm picking up on two things. One thing I didn't mention, but one, I'm getting that I had heard the name Alyssa, something along those lines. And then I also, I just heard someone say, well, excuse me, when I say someone, I mean my guides, green eyes. So something about green eyes. Okay. And I saw 444 on the timer. So any of those things could resonate for you. And you have the Hanged Man. You have yet another major arcana card. I mean, you have the Chariot, the Hierophant, the Devil, the Hermit, the Moon, and now the Hanged Man. And so something could be delayed, but sometimes I feel as though we put ourselves in this position because we need a higher perspective. We need to get a new perspective. And you have multiple cards here about perspective, the Hanged Man, the Hermit, and even the Moon card. So it's a shift of consciousness, of perspective. It's a period of enlightenment for you, and you may be feeling your way through things. And if you're not, that may be the advice now, Cancer, is to go deep with something and feel your way through this, because you do have the answers within, and you have the Three of Wands, and that is going to allow you to move forward. Another card of action, maybe going somewhere where you've never gone before. And it could be also daring to dream. Okay, this is also a card of travel, the Three of Wands, and so is the Chariot. So you could also be having things going on with your car or something to do with transportation. I almost said transformation. So yeah, again, some of your just big changes are coming in. Oh my goodness, talk about big changes. And I also said travel, and you have the World card here. I think for some of you, it's more than just traveling. I feel like it's like you're maybe stepping into a new a level of awareness, intuitively or otherwise. I feel that's going to develop from now on. It's not going to just be this short time period here. But this is the World card, and it's about and it's another card of manifestation, particularly because it's on top of that Ace of Pentacles for you. But it's also, I feel as though you're seeing as how things connect, and maybe seeing where you fit into the world. Or maybe this is what you're trying to figure out right now. But this is a sign of feeling whole, of accomplishment of some kind. Okay, and remember, it does come after the Judgment card, which is that sort of awakening energy, life purpose energy. And I feel as though for you, even though the Judgment card's not here, definitely I feel judgment energy, because I'm getting, like I said, a lot of sort of awakening energy and stuff, like things that are connected to your life purpose, like the journey in general. So there's a lot going on with that, and that's amazing to have as your final tarot card for this reading. Okay, let's see what else we have. Let's get a little advice. Well, let's see what other kinds of common themes are coming in here. Let's see. I'm just always listening. Yeah, you may find like ocean sounds very helpful right now. Or I'm just, because I'm actually, as I said, I'm clairaudient, I'm hearing the ocean. So some of you must be very close to the ocean, because I'm hearing that. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually hearing it. And I know that doesn't always happen when I use this deck. So we have Love, card 52, live from the heart. Very important to do, even though it can be difficult. My goodness, how do I know that? Yes, integrity. Live your truth. Yes, live your truth and live from the heart. Absolutely. And let's get more advice, please. More advice. If you enjoy this reading, if you would, it would help if you could hit that like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. It would help the channel growth, obviously, and allow me to continue to do what I love to do, just be here at the table with you. And if you are a Libra or have prominent Libra in your chart, my other channel is Schoolhouse Intuitive, and that's where I read for Libra. It's actually how my journey started on YouTube. Trust the universe here, Aquarius energy. Aquarius energy here. We are in the age of Aquarius, right? And you have let your fears dissolve, full moon in Cancer. Look at that. I feel this is such a powerful moon cycle for you, from this new moon to the full moon. And like I said, even beyond, I just feel that there's such a connection. There may be this sense of like renewed hope and purpose for some of you. And it's because you're letting those fears dissolve. It's because although you're ruled by the moon, it's like you're not going to be ruled by that moon, if you know what I mean. Okay, there's a difference. So connection versus being controlled, right? There's a difference there. So So that's awesome. I love that. All right, let's get a few more cards here. Let's use the Divine Direction Oracle, and then I'll close out the reading, as I always do, with an animal card and angel number. You have inner child here. Connect with your inner child and listen to what your child self has to say as you move forward on your journey. There's that word again, journey. We just talked about that. And this is about celebrating your truth, okay? Celebrate your truth. That's actually good for that. All right. I heard loud and clear. Okay, now let's get some animal messages for you. Animal messages. I'm picking up on oranges or the color orange. So maybe you're, it could also be something to do with your navel, that area. Oh, actually, yeah, inner child. That could be like maybe you have some sort of stuff you're going through as far as mother stuff, feeling connected to your own mother or not, or you as a mother. So we have Swan card here, card 29, and we can mother more than just children, right? I realize not everyone has children. All right. So Swan card becoming, this is a heart chakra. That's what your reading has really focused on, heart chakra. So let go. Oh my goodness, you're kidding me. I started the reading, I mentioned it, about not exchanging your authenticity solely for approval of others, right? And what do you have here? Let go of what isn't authentic and become who you were born to be. Let your true self emerge. I'm getting chills here. Wow. Okay. Yeah, let your true self emerge. All right. Two of these, and you have 1010, a new path awaits here. New path awaits, 1010. And that number could resonate for you in some way. Let your soul grow and trust in new beginnings. Wow. I'm like blown away. Okay. And 777, maybe your birthday's 77, or you have a connection to that, or maybe your birthday's 7-1 or 7-11 or 7-10 or something. But anyway, we have connecting with your spirit guides, a sign of divine guidance here. Excellent. So that is what I have for you. And I just want to thank you for being here. So wishing you the very best in this amazing energy, and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. As a Cancer, or having strong Cancer in your chart, you may feel the need or the temptation anyway to constantly nurture others and not yourself. So do make time for yourself. Thank you so much for being here. And again, happy birthday and happy Cancer season. Thank you.